For 2,000 years, people have been programmed to believe that wealth comes from external factors like the right opportunities, the right relationships, and the right job. But this paradigm suggests that abundance is found outside of you. Now, you cannot find true wealth by chasing it externally, for the source of abundance lives within you. And somewhere in this video, you're going to learn how to access that frequency so that money obeys. And the first thing we need to do is redefine what it truly means to be wealthy. My claim is that the currency of reality is feeling. And feeling never comes from receiving outer things, but from having internal realizations. And here's why. Alex Hormozi made a video that I'll always remember, and he said in a podcast, the time where I felt the most rich in my life was when my bank account hit $100,000. And Alex Hormozi has gone on to make millions and millions and tens of millions of dollars. His book series is actually called $100 Million Offers and Leads. So he has some good authority to speak on this. So why is it that it was only when he hit $100,000 that he felt the richest, and not when he made all of those tens of millions of dollars? Because he was trying to access the feeling. The feeling of being rich was what he was looking for. And he realized that it didn't matter if his bank account was higher and higher. That wouldn't give him the feeling of being rich, of being whole, of being peaceful. He had to source that from within himself. He had to consciously create this feeling or this frequency of wealth where he felt truly wealthy without needing a validation of a number in a bank account. Another example, Brad Lea shared a mind-blowing realization, and he said, if I gave you $1 million right now, would you take it? Everybody said, of course, I would. Now, let's make it even more interesting. I'll give you $10 million. Would you take it? Yes, of course. I would know exactly what to do with that money. But then he said, okay, here's the challenge. If you get these $10 million, you cannot wake up tomorrow. That's part of the deal. Would you still take the $10 million? And the people said, no, it's not worth it. And so Brad said, okay, so you're telling me that to wake up tomorrow is more valuable than $10 million. And the people said, yeah, I've never thought about it that way. That's freaking crazy. And that's exactly what I was thinking to myself. And I was like, wait a minute. And so he said, most people keep on achieving, keep on building businesses, keep on building wealth. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love doing that. But he said, they don't realize that every day that they wake up is worth more than $10 million. So why aren't we feeling that gratitude and that richness and that abundance and that wealth? And that for me is the true definition of being wealthy. It comes from an inner realization, you see? Because imagine having $10 million and you can't wake up tomorrow. And then you redefine and you shift what it really means to be wealthy. I had another friend and he told me, you know, JP, I was so obsessed with making a lot of money. And I spent 15, 20 years making money. And when I didn't have the money, I cared so much about making money. That was my whole purpose, my whole drive in life. And let me tell you something so that you don't make the same mistake. He told me, after I made all the money, it didn't matter at all to me. It was just there. And then I had to find more purpose, find more drive, find something that was bigger than myself. And that was a mind-blowing realization to me. And that's happened to me whenever I close a big client, whenever I have been working so hard to reach a certain number in my bank account, and I reach it, unfortunately, after some days or some time, it doesn't really matter. It's just there. And I'm like, why did I think? It's like, why did I think that a certain number would bring me a feeling of happiness, a feeling of rich, a feeling of wealthy. It's the other way around. So that's where we go deeper. So now that we understand the currency of reality, let me show you how the mechanism actually works. For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. This reveals not a religious poetry, but the perfect order of creation, where everything in the universe goes from energy to matter, and then from matter to energy. 99.999% of reality is energy, just with different densities of frequencies that seem to be matter. This is what quantum physicists have discovered and proved. But the ancient ones, the mystics, they already knew that. And that's why there's so many of these beautiful scriptures. So the scripture from Matthew 12:34, what it really means is, from the abundance of the heart, whatever you are abundantly feeling, the heart represents the deepest level of your subconscious, what you're feeling, what you perceive yourself to be. The mouth will speak, or reality will be created based on that. On a more practical level, here's how the mechanism works. It all starts with identity. The identity creates the feeling creates the frequency creates the state dictates your decisions dictate your results, and your results determine your destiny and your reality. So the frequency of wealth versus the frequency of lack is what I call the attractor field. Here's an example. If I have an identity where I say I am whole now, if I stop listening to the world and I have an inner realization that the source of abundance lives within me, then I can give myself permission to feel whole now. Okay, if I have that identity, what's the feeling? Well, I'm going to feel peace. And if I feel peace, that's a very high frequency and vibration, which takes me into a state of creator, a state of wholeness, a state of heaven on earth. And therefore, I'm going to create and make decisions that are aligned with that identity, from peace, from wholeness. And so I will make money, but I'm going to make it from joy and from peace. I will attract more money. I will attract wealth. I will attract abundance, but not because I believe that I'm lacking it, therefore I need it, but because I feel so abundant and rich that I simply want that expression and that feeling to be more expressed in my outer reality. Okay, the second example is the opposite. If I believe that my identity, that myself is lacking, then the feeling that that's going to create is stress. Then my frequency is low, then I'm in a state of survival, and then I can actually make money, but it's going to feel always like a struggle, that I'm working harder, that I'm chasing, that I'm always needing to be productive. And that's where I feel like a lot of people and a lot of my clients and myself have had to gone through this journey where we have to release the survival programming and conditioning. Because even when you use lack as your fuel and stress as your fuel and survival, even when you make the money, it doesn't bring you happiness, as we've already proved. Therefore, your destiny and your reality will tell you, I am lacking and I need more money. And then you repeat the cycle again and again. All that I'm saying here is, if you are already rich, but you still feel that you're lacking, then go within yourself to change your identity, your feeling, and your frequency. And if you're still not rich, you can use this mechanism to start to feel rich before you are, because feeling is energy, and energy will create matter. When you feel that you're rich even before you are, you impressed that upon your subconscious up to the level of intensity that you can feel that reality now. And when you say, I am rich, or where you feel how it would feel like to be rich now, again and again and again, and you practice that every single day, then you're impressing that on the subconscious at the deepest level of your heart. And because you're practicing that feeling so much, the feeling of being rich becomes the abundance of what you're feeling in your heart. And from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. You will speak, you will take actions, and you will manifest and create a destiny where you are rich. And all I'm saying is that we can be both. And it's our birthright to be both. That's the main intention for today. Because true wealth is not just about making money. True wealth is holistic. It's a wealth, it's a frequency that is both within and without. It's not only spiritual and it's not only material. Okay? It's to live with an abundant feeling of wholeness and peace, knowing that the source of abundance and the source of life lives within me. And when I have that inner realization and I contemplate it, then I source from within myself the highest frequency of wealth. And through that feeling, I will naturally attract, receive, and keep all the outer wealth that I desire. And that's deep. So let's start doing both, because the game of wealth is rigged in your favor. Feeling is the only creative force in your world. So when we understand that, wait a minute, when I raise my frequency to I am rich, when I feel myself to be rich again and again and again, then everything in my world gets raised to that new level of frequency, including my family, including my friends, including my entire reality. So the deeper truth is this: as you do this for yourself, you're doing it for the entire world and the collective. And it's so incredible to see how every time you level up in frequency and you perceive your identity to be whole, rich, and abundant now, that everything around you changes. For example, the more that I've embodied and practiced this frequency, the more that I've seen indirectly and naturally my brother, my sister, my parents, my grandma, like my family, my friends, they all seem to be shifting that way. And it's really weird. But of course, I'm the source of my world and my reality. Therefore, everything gets raised. And so if you want to help your family, your friends, your world, if you want to just live and make a bigger impact, and you want to create or live this purpose where you are contributing to a world where there is more abundance, when there is more riches, where there is more wholeness and peace, and we create this frequency of wealth that is holistic, it all starts with you. You change the world by changing yourself. And this is something that it just works so much as a driver to me. And if that wasn't proof enough for you, I have compiled some incredible scripture that reveals the ancient wisdom of the mechanism we're talking about, of as within, so without. Like King Solomon, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. This means if I feel myself to be rich before I am, I will be rich. It's part of the law. These are not proverbs only in religious scripture. It's a law that is being revealed. Jesus also said, Mark 11:24, therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. What happens when you believe that you've received something? There is a feeling that you source and you create from within yourself. That is the frequency, the true frequency of wealth. And when I feel and I align myself correctly to that frequency, then it will be yours as part of the immutable law. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. The power of the tongue is not only the mouth, but creation. Okay? And creation and the mouth doesn't only happen through our speech, but through our deepest inner thoughts and beliefs. So when I start to use the frequency of wealth correctly by feeling myself to be that, regardless of what my outer reality says, then I am going higher and higher and higher into this new life, into this new reality of abundance. And above all else, guard what you're feeling, for everything you do and everything you are and everything you manifest flows from it. And so this is where conscious discipline comes. So don't chase the money. Don't chase the wealth. Embody the feeling, and money will chase you. And if you want to go deeper, and if you want my help with it, there's 2 links below. One link where you can do it right now at your own pace is a 30-day challenge for wealth expansion. And the second one is if you're an entrepreneur and you want to scale your business from consciousness instead of force. I'll see you on the next one. Much love. Links are below. Peace.